What's up, everybody, and welcome back to All the Things Sort of True, the alcohol-fueled chapter-by-chapter reread of the Sort of True series with a handful of craft brew on the side. I'm Nate.
And I'm Jade, and on today's episode, we are falling into Chapter 39 of Stone of Tears. We're getting up there, guys.
Yeah, and it comes to mind that we are not that far away from our 100th episode either.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking exciting.
Me and you have talked about this already a little bit, but doing like a live show for our 100th?
Yeah, I think we should.
Not necessarily a chapter, but just like a live hangout. What would be cool is if we did the Zoom meeting like we did before.
Yeah.
And then just get like a whole bunch of people on that. I think that would be a lot of fun.
Party time!
But I am super glad to be here today. Work was work. It's just, there's a lot of things going on lately, and it's just nice to be able to come down here into our cozy little basement and have a beer and go through the books and just kind of shut all that off for a little while. So fuck yeah, guys. Welcome back.
Yes. And actually, I don't know if you know this, Nate, but today is International Podcast Day. It won't be on the day that you guys are listening to this, but it is today. So happy that.
Well, what do you say for that?
Merry Podcast Day.
What is it? IPD? Happy IPD.
Happy IPD. Okay, I'm cool with it. Happy IPD, y'all. Woo, holiday. Wait, I didn't get off work for that.
You should have. We both should have.
I agree.
So what better way to celebrate International Podcast Day than get right the fuck into podcasting?
Works for me.
This chapter, we rejoin Kahlan. She's on Nick, backing up, waiting for the men, chasing her. She left us with, a good cliffhanger. She uses a pole that she prepared before she even got to the enemy camp, and uses it to knock snow off the branches covering her and Nick's trail, so they're, hidden, and they can't tell where they came from. And the two of them sit silently and watch all 50 men and their horses slide off this fucking cliff, not so silently, and her tracks had, led them right there.
So it says that she's about 10 yards away. That's 30 feet. That is not far at all. Not to mention, she only must have had a few minutes to do this. She knew that once they hit the flat behind her, they would all be at a dead run. So she only had moments to act. And so that means she went down this path, just say, turned left with Nick, had him walk for a ways, and then backed him up into these trees like you're parking a car into a garage.
Yeah.
And then used the stick to shake the tree to cover the tracks, then creating the illusion they went the other way. It would be very hard to do in a short amount of time.
Yeah, when you and the horse are both all jittery from the battle.
Yeah, and the other thing was this. If you are backing a horse into the trees, then the horse would have had to have stepped in exactly the same spot that it stepped before. Otherwise, it would kill the illusion that you were one person and you went one way. Maybe the tracks were messy because they figured she'd be running fast as hell, so it was kind of hard to tell whether or not they were walking forward or not.
Oh, yeah.
Because with the little details that these trackers look at, the snow was strafed off in that direction. That means the foot was going this way while it was moving. Stuff like that would stick out.
Oh, yeah. I think she's just counting on them all not making it that long.
Yeah. Plus, like I said, they are all in a hurry. She was in a hurry doing this. They're in a hurry. She doesn't really need to make it perfect, but as long as it makes them think that she went off in another direction, at least for that split second when they make the choice to follow left or right, it's going to work.
Yeah. It made me think of some real Home Alone shit, though.
Oh, yeah. Last second booby trap for sure. I mean, it's a cliff. It's an icy cliff. A river goes right over, what is it, a creek? Creek?
They said stream, which is why it took me a couple minutes to really fully understand why the stream was so dangerous to these guys, but it's because it bubbled over after it was frozen, so it wasn't a stream anymore. It was like a frozen lake at the edge of a cliff.
Yeah, it was like flooding on top of itself. on top of the ice.
Yeah.
So it was bigger than just what the stream was.
Yeah. And not like a flat lake, like a curved over, bubbly lake that made it impossible for these horses to dig their hooves into it because it was so, like, rocky. Not rocky,
couldn't
but
get
icy.
any grip.
Yes.
Yeah, so once they started to slip, it was already done. Over they went.
Yeah.
50 dudes, 50 horses.
Yeah.
Ugh. Blech. There was a detail in there about the bones popping from the horses getting their hooves were getting stuck, but they were just too heavy to stop, so they just gosh.
Did you notice that part wasn't in that wasn't in the notes?
No, I had noticed, but that's why I wanted to bring it up.
We were just skimming right past all of the maimed horses because
that's nobody wants to think about that. Yeah.
But one of these motherfuckers grabs onto a fucking branch. Everybody is really, really great at, like, last-second reflexes in these couple chapters.
To be honest, I've been giving more thought to Kahlan grabbing a sword out of a scabbard. Now, we've had a couple of comments about whether or not she pulled that out of a scabbard, like, on the side of a horse or on a pole near a tent. And I want to recreate the experiment with a bicycle and a broom handle, and I think we can do it, and I want to see how easy it would be to grab a sword out of a scabbard.
I don't think it matters where it was hanging. That's my Mythbusters prediction.
I agree with you, but I want to try it in a couple different ways just to see. And it won't be the same thing, but I'm curious to know how hard it would be. Like, just riding a bike as fast as you can towards it. Can you grab it?
If anyone has a sword they want to lend us for this experiment, feel free. Email us at podcastatt@gmail.com and we'll, get with you about shipping.
But yeah, he makes this badass grab where he gets some roots.
Yeah, they're like roots and branches and shit that were caught in the edge of the stream.
And he's hanging on, looking up at Kahlan, like, please don't let me die. And I felt so super bad for him.
Oh, did you?
No.
Good.
Not even a little.
Good.
So when Kahlan hears him, she offers to pull him back up, but on a condition. See, Kahlan's not a sucker. She knows. He can only live if he gets touched by her power, thus effectively ending who he is. And I mean, what do you do? Do you die? Do you take it? I think I would, instead of falling, because I fucking hate heights, I'd be like, yeah, do it. Fucking get me off of this cliff, man. I'm done.
Yeah, I mean, he opted for, at first, option C, which is try and convince her that she doesn't know what she's talking about and she could just let him go.
Oh, yeah, I won't say shit. He said it'll be a long time until I get back to camp on foot. Anyways, kind of telling her, well, I'll give you a head start.
Yeah.
But the simple fact that you get to go back to camp and tell them what happened at all is, like, dangerous to my mission, so that's not going to happen.
Also, like, fuck this guy. I mean, I get that she was trying to make it this guy's choice, but it felt weird the way she was negotiating with him after all the hatred towards these people and what they did, and he was just trying to kill her. Like, either push him or touch him. Don't give him a fucking option. Fuck that guy.
No, you know what you do? Here's what you do. If I were Kahlan, you lean down just close enough. Not close enough to where he could grab you. That's too close. But just close enough to where you're dead sure that he's looking right in your eyes. And you say, I made a guy eat his own balls once. In the midst of him asking you, like, please just pull me up. Be like, hey, you know what I did before? I'm a real twisted son of a bitch. I could have a lot of fun with you, and that would probably make him go, all right, I'm good, and just let go.
I did get a vision in my head while she was doing this of her, like, I don't know, kind of cockily, that's a weird word, like, smugly, I think is probably a better word, sidling down next to him and being like, hey, this sucks, right?
Boy, it would suck if these roots came out, huh? Starts pulling grass. Probably can't afford to lose too much more dirt there, can you? But oop, there's a little more. Stab, stab.
See, and this dude, he instantly refuses her offer anyways, and then he lets go after getting the last word. Like, he gets a couple last verbal jabs into her, and then fucking falls.
I'll never join you. Fuck you.
I just don't understand how Kahlan wasn't, like, immediately... I don't know. At the very least, I would have been like, fuck you. I don't know, like...
Just say it back into the ether.
Yeah. I didn't want to touch you anyways, rapist. You know, something.
I mean, maybe, but... Okay, look at it this way. He said his thing, and then he plummeted to his death. So, he's not going to get the final word, because he's dead.
I did not like him getting the last word after her giving him a choice. Because I would probably be way more vengeful. Especially when she was like, no quarter. You know?
Well, yeah. And I mean, that goes to your negotiation thing, too. There was a lot of hate spit in previous chapters. Hey, it was all deserved, don't get me wrong. But then, and then the moment of truth comes, she does kill 100 people.
Yeah, I'm not taking away from that.
So there's that. But then to this guy, it's almost softer for literally no reason. Like, they were out there chasing you to kill you.
Yeah.
So, no, you don't offer him mercy. You just kill him.
Yeah, you don't need a prisoner.
It doesn't have to be this big, drawn-out thing. Like, it can be simple. Just like the horses can break their ankles in little cups in the ice. It's not glamorous, but it's effective. And that's why you do it.
So once all these dudes are dead, Kahlan heads back towards the boys' camp, and she starts thinking about all the magical creatures in the Midlands and what the dudes from the Order told her about them. We know about the Night Wisps. We've met them before, but she also mentions the creatures of Long Lake that are apparently translucent, and they bask in the moonlight on the rocks, which at first I thought she was meaning like little tiny creatures, but then the more I thought about it, I don't think they are. I think they're like giant-ass fucking seals or mermaids or some shit.
It's kind of like a cross between Deep and Translucent from The Boys.
Oh, yeah.
The two soups, where one of them is like a fish. He can breathe underwater, and he's very aquatic, and the other guy is just clear when he wants to be. So it's like those two guys, which would be a very complicating individual. Complicating and complicated.
Yeah. Except these things don't talk. So it's kind of like Translucent, right? He never talked, really. Or no, he did talk. Black Noir doesn't talk.
Right.
Okay. All right. I'm on track. Anyways, she also tells us about the tree people who are all connected, and all I could think about is the fucking Ents. Right? Entmoot, all that shit. Lord of the Rings.
Oh, yeah. What else do you have to compare it to? And this is another one of those scenarios where people are like, hey, this is obviously borrowed, which, it's there.
Some people may say inspired.
You know, I like inspired a whole hell of a lot more. Yeah. I actually recently watched a video on YouTube where somebody was kind of shitting all over Terry and his writing and the books and just everything. And I got about halfway through it before I went, you know what? Fuck this guy. It's only his opinion.
Yeah.
I think it's great. Y'all think it's great. So he sucks, but I'm not going to... I don't want to, blow his name up on the podcast. I don't know if that would be an asshole thing to do, but maybe. We'll see.
He blew Terry's name up.
I'll see if any more videos pop up, and if so. Anyways. So, as the mother confessor, she is responsible for all of them and commanded all people to protect the magic places. So, it didn't all come down to just one person or group of people defending their land.
Right.
It's literally 3 musketeers, all for one, one for all. Yeah. Everybody's got somebody's back, at least.
Yeah.
It was an arrangement backed by wizards and confessors for the thousands of years. We know this. Zed has talked about this. Kahlan has talked about this. But seeing that there's only one confessor left and not a whole lot of wizards, shit has been really, really fucked up. And that backing isn't super strong right now. They're all kind of weak.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think she acknowledges this as much as maybe she should, but